Hello, and welcome to this edition of African Literature Alive, brought to you by the Heritage and Cultural Diversity Forum. Now, African Literature Alive is aimed at bringing the works of Black writers and writers of African heritage to younger readers, making it exciting and accessible for them. Today's work was written by Cyprian Ekwensi. The original work was titled An African Night's Entertainment, but today we're going to be reading an adaptation of that work, and this adaptation was brought to you by the Heritage and Cultural Diversity Forum, adapted by Obianuju Iyaji. We would like to, at this point, appreciate the contributions of illustrators who have contributed to this work by choosing to share their works freely. We absolutely celebrate your work, and we are really grateful that you have chosen to share it with us. Now let's begin. Chapter 1. Mafurki, the Dream. Malam Shehu was the richest man of his time. In fact, he did not lack anything. Well, there was this one thing, though. When he prayed, he begged God for a child, any child, someone he could call his own. One day, Malam Shehu dreamt that he saw a man selling a horse. He liked the horse, but learnt that someone else had paid for it. He offered even more money for the horse, thereby offending the initial bidder. "Why do you want to take what is mine?" "No, my friend, we both want the horse, but the seller wants money. To whom will he sell?" Malam Shehu bought the horse and went on his way. In his dream, the horse had a foal, and when it grew up, Malam Shehu asked that it be saddled for him to ride on. He rode out, spurred it into a gallop, and the horse fell. Falling in his dream, and breaking an arm and a leg, Malam Shehu woke up. "Send for Malam Sambo at once," he cried. The servant set off to fetch the wise man of the village, able to interpret dreams. Chapter 2. Magani, the Potion. I have never seen such a lovely damsel like the one I saw at the gates of Malam Audu. "Which Malam Audu?" asked Shehu, as he sat up in his study chair. "I don't think Malam Audu has a daughter." The servant narrated that Malam Audu had betrothed his daughter many years ago to a certain young man, and now the young lady was all grown up. Malam Audu is very strict with her, so she never comes out. "Go, find out more. Tell her I want to meet her," Malam Shehu begged. Zainobe was betrothed to a certain Malam Abubakar from childhood. Now, all grown up and beautiful, her mother began to have doubts that he was worthy of her. Abubakar could not sleep on hearing that the richest man in town wanted to have his bride. But Zainobe reassured him, "Nothing will make me marry Malam Shehu, unless he is prepared to marry my dead body." Meanwhile, at the other side of town, on hearing that his servant was humiliated and threatened by Abubakar, Zainobe's fiancé, Malam Shehu hurried to Malam Sambo. "I have seen her, and I must marry her," was his plea. "Get me the musk of a deer, and leave the rest to me. But make sure you find a way to smear the potion on Zainobe," warned Malam Sambo. The rest is history. Chapter 3. Soyayya. Zainobe is love-struck. Zainobe, all fragrant with the perfume, said to her mother, "Abubakar sent for me. I must go at once." "Well, you know your father does not let you out. Hurry and be back at once," came the reply. Zainobe dressed in her best clothes and ran all the way to Malam Shehu's house. Was it the pleasant perfume he sent her? Zainobe did not know why she could not get Malam Shehu out of her head. Chapter 4. Riga Akasua, a cloth in the market. Some time ago, Malam Shehu sent for you. I didn't tell you, because of your father, Zainobe's mother said cautiously. He wants to marry you, but if you say yes, people will think it's because of his money. Zainobe said, I quite like this Malam Shehu. If I marry him, you will never wear rags again. Shehu continued to send gifts secretly to Zainobe and her mother. He was elated as he reflected on Sambo's promise that things were about to change radically, all in his favor. The next time Abu saw Zainobe, he questioned her about the rumors that Malam Shehu wanted to marry her. I have an answer for you, Abu. When a trader has a cloth, he takes it to the market and he sells it to the highest bidder. On getting home, Abu was obstinate. I shall not live in this town and see Zainobe in another man's house, mother. I am just telling you, so that whatever I do in the future will not surprise you. Chapter 5. Aurin the Haifua, the Marriage and Birth. Malam Shehu paid Zainobe's bride price despite her father's disapproval. Her relatives beamed as he greased their palms with money and gifts. The king endorsed the marriage, sending the bride price to Abu in payment for all his expenses to Zainobe's parents. I don't want a penny of their money. He spoke to his mother. My older brother will take care of you, he said. Don't worry for me. But I must have my revenge. And off Abu went, into the night, never to be seen in the village again, or so everyone thought. Years passed, and just as Malam Sambo foretold, Zainobe had a bouncing baby boy. The child grew in manners and wisdom, much to his father, Malam Shehu's delight. His father built him a separate gida, and all his friends would visit him. He lacked nothing. Chapter 6. Rama, a quest for vengeance. Abu lay beneath a tree, tired and not sure which direction to take. Above him, hidden in the tree, some bandits squalled greedily. Let's shoot him, said one. There's no need. Let's just take his belongings. He looks quite harmless, the other replied. The first insisted, shooting an arrow at Abu. He missed, but Abu started and sprang on his feet, woken in the process. Are you a thief? They asked. No, only a wronged man seeking vengeance, came the reply. Join us and forget your sorrow. I am sorry. I cannot steal, Abu confessed. K? Who are you? And how did you enter this forest? Startled, Abu retreated towards his horse, tied in the distance. They pounced on him and grabbed him by the throat. You're not even afraid of us. You've taken my purse and my money. What more do you want? Abu cried. This, came the reply. Flash! Fading lights! Abu struggled but passed out, his eyes drawing shut as the shadows of the bandits drifted into the night. Chapter 7. Kunne, daya, the one-eared thief. Days passed, but that meant nothing to Abu. He lay there with no one to help him. Finally he awoke, his head pounding terribly. It took a while, but like a nightmare, the details of his ordeal became more vivid by the minute. First, Zainobe's betrayal, followed by the pain inflicted by the bandits. Abu knew he had to get away from there, fast. Abu went on. Upon nearing a town, he heard singing and asked a man nearby, Do you know where I can find a man to avenge me? Ah, you must be a stranger. This is Birnin Zauna Shirinka, the land of readiness. People here stand in readiness in case of strange happenings. A bad place indeed. You will find thousands of them, came the reply. The following day, Abu found a soothsayer. But if you insist, the magic sap you seek lies in the evil forest. Abu did not look back. He thanked him and was on his way to the evil forest. For 2 months Abu journeyed on, no man or woman in sight. At last, the smoke rising out from a distance gave him new hope. Who are you? A thief. The one-eyed thief, roared the hunter as he reached for his bow and arrow. Abu broke into tears. He could not take it any more. I am a poor traveler. Abu narrated his ordeal, telling the hunter about his quest for vengeance. Yes, this is how they suffer. Here I am in this bush. For over a year now, I have not seen a man, and the first one I come across wants to go and die in the evil forest. A shiver ran down Abu's spine. Show me the way, he stammered. You're a brave man, Abu. You fear for me. It's been 7 days now. My destiny lies ahead. I cannot stop now, said Abu, as he turned away before the hairy hunter could see the fear in his eyes. The hunter led him to his limits, and with tears running down his hairy cheeks, he hugged him. I cannot go any further. Goodbye, my friend. Abu walked on. He wept. He had borne untold suffering, and to what end? 2 weeks later, and Abu was still in the forest. He had fought a python, survived all those scary nights. The chill of the gusting winds woke Abu up, only to find the hands of an old frail lady in his. My son, she quivered, what brings you here? Abu mumbled his story all over again, this time with absolute fear and trembling. My son, I will give you this sap. She went to the tree, marking it with her sharp claws as she asked for his guard. With the sap came the command to leave the forest. Run! Run out of this forest before I harm you! As she growled, hairs grew out around her eyes as she took the form of a leopard. Terrified, Abu ran as fast as his skinny legs could carry him, finding his way back to the hunter's lair. Chapter 9. Wawa, Zainobe's son, goes mad. After many moons and seasons, Abu returned to his town, but nobody could recognize the battered, maimed, and wretched stranger. Barka da safe, Baba, came the morning greeting of a young and handsome boy on his way to school one morning. Who is that? Abu asked, as he sat basking in the sun. Tonight, Malam Shehu and Zainobe will pay. He smiled as he followed the boy secretly. That night, Abu smeared Buba, Zainobe's son, with the magic potion. Going to the room where Zainobe slept, he patted her head gently. Zainobe, you have disgraced me. You and your husband shall pay. Your husband wanted a son. That son will be a curse to you. Chapter 10. Kenan. the fulfilment. What is your name? Malam Usman, Shehu lied to the king, who was pleased with his humility and pleasant appearance. Shehu was not prepared to let down his guard. Our son ruined us, he later exclaimed, mourning to Zainobe as they settled down in their new home, far away where no one would know them. First, your jewelry, then all my money. Now our houses too. Malam Shehu worked hard to rebuild his wealth after his son, Buba, had brought them to ruins. You see, Buba, their son, had become a thief and a dangerous one at that. Overnight, he changed. It was totally unexplainable. Meanwhile, after many moons, Buba and his gang were passing through town when he saw it. Wow! Whose mansion is that? He asked. Malam Usman, came the reply, for so he was known. We must visit him tonight, Buba gleamed as he relished the thought of raiding this house. Unknown to him, it was Malam Shehu's house. It was his father's house. That night was a night like no other. Zainobe wailed and screamed as though the scales had fallen from her eyes. There lay her husband, Malam Shehu, dead. Buba's friends forced their way into the house, and old as he was, Shehu's heart failed. Chapter 11. The rest is history. Many months passed. Repentant Buba learned of Malam Abubakar and his evil deeds. It was time to pay him a visit. Abubakar was sitting by the fire, writing on his wooden slate. He looked up as the stranger entered, unannounced. I am Zainobe's son. Bube needed to say no more. Old and frail, with one eye and a disfigured face, Abu knew the end was near, and running was no use. It was over. Returning home, Buba lived out his days with his mother. He cared for her and continued his father's legacy. Indeed, what a great merchant he was. The end. Now that brings us to the very end of this story, and we are really grateful to great writers like Cyprian Ekwensi for sharing their thoughts with us. I hope you young readers enjoyed that story, and hopefully there'll be more to come your way in a short while. If you're curious about Cyprian Ekwensi, well, here's his picture. He is late now, but he has written so many lovely books for children, and I'm sure you would find a lot of them if you Google his name. My name is Obianuju Iyaji, and I hope you really enjoyed this story. I happen to be a teacher and a mother, and I find that sharing books like these would help our young readers to look out for even greater works written by Black authors or African authors, and hopefully be inspired to do great things themselves. Do take care until next time. Bye-bye.